What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I am back with another toy review. Today we're reviewing the Transformers Generations / Transformers United Jazz. Now, this is a figure that I was waiting a long time to get, and I don't even know why it took so long, but I got him as a gift. He was a birthday gift from Agent O. Thank you, homie. And he's one of my favorite Transformers that I never had Jazz when I was a kid. I wanted him, never had him. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about Transformers, Jazz is essentially the second in command of the Autobots. He's Optimus Prime's like right-hand dude. He's like if Solid Snake was a Transformer with a kind of an earthly vibe, a cool man vibe. He would be Jazz. Jazz is one of those like really good fighters. He's really good at stealth operations and espionage, and he's all about Earth culture. Loves the slang, loves music. He digs being here on Earth more than any of the other Autobots, which is what the movie didn't give you. The movie gave you a very generic black stereotype or African American stereotype as an Autobot, and that's why the movie sucked. And I'm not going to go into that in this review, but this figure kicks the shit out of the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron version, which was a shitty figure. Agent O did a review on it to let you know how bad it was, because a lot of people were saying it was better than this, and those people were smoking that alien chemical crack. This figure has so many little details. Case in point, these speakers right here. All you needed for a good Jazz figure is a robot mode that's really posable and a car mode that looks like, a Porsche. And they give you extra. I mean, his articulation is amazing. He's got a cool gun, which you'll see in the next image. It looks right. It looks like it's on model. It looks like what you saw in the comics more so than the TV show. He just has every little aspect of him that you saw especially in the comics, both IDW and Dreamwave. And then at first glance, he even looks very much like what you saw in the classic TV show. I mean, there's little differences like where the wheels are on his shoulders, and the way the door wings actually look. Some versions don't have door wings. I think in the old TV show he didn't have door wings. But any way you look at it, this is a very good figure. It's an amazing figure. It's well done. It's worth the wait. And I'm very happy to have him in my collection. So here we go. Okay, so as far as articulation goes for this bad boy, he's got a wonderfully emotive head. You can tilt it, you can rotate it. It's beautiful. It's got light piping, which is pretty dope. It's very simplistic light piping. Let me show you. Well, you can't even see it, can you? See that? Let's back up so it's clear. Beautiful, right? We'll start at the top and work our way down, just like we do with all the other reviews. He has ball jointed arms, go up that much. They have a bicep swivel. Bend double jointed elbows, which is crazy. This is a Hasbro release, you know what I mean? But, we tend to get that based on the transformation joint. Ball socketed wrists. So they have a swivel and, there you go, swivel and up and down motion with no problem. He can, you can twist his waist because of the transformation joint. Or maybe it's just there for the sake of articulation. Bicep swivel, double jointed knees. Knees go up this much, out that much. Toes can point. It's just really well done. Really well done. There's so much, these days, there's so much that you come to expect with all the different types of Transformers, and this is an example of when Hasbro gave a shit.
you know, like consistently gave a shit, so you could actually get the experience you wanted to get without paying hundreds of dollars for a masterpiece figure, you know. Even the wings or doors, you know, they obviously open and shut, so you can keep them back if you wanted to, or you can keep them out. But, you know, simple things like that, it helps make the figure just that much more interesting. And I'm happy about it. I love it. This is way better than that stupid Fall of Cybertron or War for Cybertron version of the same character. That was a piece of shit. This here is the real deal. And, yeah, I think that if you are a fan of the character, this is where you need to go. I'm going to take some more pictures of, or I'll have more pictures of him in vehicle mode so you can see that too.
Now in vehicle mode, the figure actually comes alive a little bit more because there's a lot of throwback styling to the original G1 figure. You've got the cool racing stripes. I mean, it doesn't say Meister or Jazz anywhere, but you could easily get a repro label and, you know, go on reprolabels.com and get the Jazz stickers and just get that particular sticker and put it on the place that you want it. What I do dig, and I don't need that personally, this is the perfect essence of that character. I mean, they could have done better with things like the stripe, the racing stripe, reaching all the way to the very front body piece, because you see it continues on the bumper, but it didn't continue on the side panel right before the bumper. But that's nitpicking, you know what I mean? Everything else, I mean, you're looking at Jazz. You're looking at Jazz. You're looking at a Porsche. I mean, it's supposed to look like a Porsche. They didn't change it so much. I mean, there's little tweaks so that they probably don't get in trouble, but it looks like Jazz. I mean, there's nothing else really to say. I don't have to get all nerdy with, you know, all the details of what it actually is and what is not 100% the original Jazz. It's Jazz, down to the freaking Autobot symbol that you can put your thumb on. It's black normally, but you put your thumb on it and the heat actually activates the little, you know, holographic sticker. My favorite thing is gun storage. So he has this awesome gun, and you can see that cool little white hinge piece that's sticking out underneath it. A lot of my favorite Generations figures, and I have a lot, I just don't review them because Transformers in general kind of get on my nerves because these days they're so expensive. You know, the really quality one, and the fan base is really strange. But anyway, the gun transforms into a small piece that I don't think it's the engine because it's in the back and it's not quite the exhaust, but it transforms into a little, you know, compact state where you can actually put this thing in the bottom of the, or the back of the vehicle, which I'll show you in a second. I'm getting to it. You flip it upside down like this. The handle actually will peg into one of two spots. It doesn't matter which direction you have it, as long as you have the handle in one of the two peg holes that are on the underside of the back end of the car. Or front end, I'm sorry. Front end of the car. And once you do that, you can see those two pegs next to the two blue transformation joints. You peg it up in there, you got your weapon storage. You don't even have to worry about it. It doesn't come out. I mean, even if you have him doing some sick jumps, he'll still stay together and, you know, the pieces stay in place. There's no fancy Nancy engineering to hold it in place so that, you know, you pay extra money because they can say, we put in this extra piece of engineering that cost us lots of money, so it's going to cost you. I mean, it's just perfect. So everything that you buy, everything that comes with the figure, it's there with the figure. I mean, that's amazing. And so the speakers thing, though, that is the part that made me just have to buy it. So, like, he can be chilling and breakdancing with, you know, his fellow, you know, homies or whatever. I love his stature in comparison to Optimus. It's dead on. It's exactly what I wanted from, you know, a Jazz figure. It's exactly what I wanted. I mean, he can stand next to Optimus Prime. He has to look up at Prime. Prime has to look down at him. It looks like what we saw all those years in the TV show. I really dig the fact that it just is it's them capturing what we like about the character to begin with. And it almost doesn't matter which version of Prime you have. If you have the Like you saw the Robots in Disguise Prime that I showed you earlier. That's my favorite Prime. That's usually my default. But if I want one that's more closer to what we know Prime to be, a truck, I use the Transformers Prime version. And he still has to look up at him, and Prime has to look down at him. So it doesn't really matter. And it depends also on how you have Prime standing. If I have Prime standing up perfectly straight, which you'll see in the next image, then you have the whole, like, you know, him looking down, because you see how much taller Prime actually is than Jazz. It's just a great figure, plain and simple. They captured, and I keep repeating myself because I have to drive the point home, because a lot of people don't understand what it takes for a Transformer to be good, you know? These details, these little pieces of styling and these choices are things that are classic and very specific Transformers design aesthetics. That face, you know what I mean? Without a weird face plate, or without all this overly done, you know, overdone detailing like in the movies. It's a very simplistic thing in some areas, but it's deceptively simple because the parts are well thought out and they work extremely well towards the whole. I mean, you see this thing transformed and you can barely even see the lines giving away what separates to turn into what. I mean, there is a really good robot hidden in there. And that's essentially what you need. The transformation, is not very difficult. The design is top-notch. The color is good. The paint is well done. And it feels substantial. He doesn't feel cheap like most of Hasbro's recent offerings. So if you ever see this guy for under 30 bucks or 30 and under, pick him up. You will not be sorry. He is so worth it. I can't strike or stress it enough, you know? You can even tell how excited I was about this figure and how much I am amped and happy to have this figure, because I'm stuttering over my words trying to get out all the praise that I can get out because this figure is so well done. Transformation pieces, everything feels necessary. The overall look, the personality of the figure, it's got light piping in the eyes, the gun fits in the hand right. I mean, that's probably the only thing you have to be careful about, because the gun and the hand is the same kind of ABS. They rub against each other and then they become slack and it starts spinning around in his hand. But you can fix that by putting tape over the handle, and then it will, or even a rubber band around it, a small rubber band, and it's fine, you know? It's one of those things where everything was engineered properly. There are little things that you always have to deal with. You know, some people use shellac or floor polish to build up joints so that they don't stay slack. Because a lot of things on him, if you do it a couple times, it'll get slack. But that's it. This is super Transformer perfection. So if you see him for under 30 bucks, maybe even 40, but that's pushing it, get it. I am Strident. It's been my review for the Generations Jazz. Peace outside.